There are lots of different ways in which agents can help different sellers depending on their situation.
Correct.
So listing the property is one avenue. Would you like to share any of your insights?
So the first thing is what you were talking about before, which is a seller's motivation. That is the most important thing you can find with any real estate transaction. That's the most important thing. It isn't getting the property sold. It's why the seller needs to sell. So when you dig with these pointed questions that we train you, what is in a seller's mind as to what their problem is, why they need to sell? When you're on the phone with them and it's, hey, was there a particular reason you were looking to sell the property in the first place? Yes, I need to move to Florida. That is not the motivation. Dig a little deeper. Tell me about that. What's important about moving to Florida? Well, my in-laws are there. Okay, not it yet. Well, what's important about being down there for your in-laws? They're aging and we think that we're gonna need to put my mother-in-law into assisted living. That's the motivation. That's why they're going. It's not that they need to get there. It's not that their in-laws live there. It's that this is a life event that's gonna happen. That is what we call a life event. They have to sell. That is imperative for you to get to that. And I would keep digging. For me personally, I keep asking, tell me about that. What is important about that? How is that going to change your life and the life of your family to actually be able to be down in Florida? Until they say no, I will continue to ask more questions to dig, because the more you have, the better you can serve them, you can help them. And this is how you relationship build.
I love to listen to Daniel do his role play and do his script practice. It shows the level of confidence and I would even say comfort of being able to pointedly ask very direct questions in a way that is not invasive, is not rude or pushy.
All of these questions that we ask them, it's in service of them. Most of the agents that are out there are going to be calling these clients and telling them, I can sell your property. I'm doing this. This is what I can do. Are you familiar with the techniques I use to sell property? Like, it's insane. And when you're talking to an expired who's been on the market 6 months, this is rancid shit that they're hearing because their property was literally listed for 6 months and it didn't sell. And now you're calling them on day 181 and telling them that you can sell it. It's crazy to me. Why don't you just find out and ask what's important to them about the move? Why are you trying to get from point A to point B? That's the motivation. That's the reason. It's not about me. Selling the property isn't about me.
Right.
It is all about them. In my close, when I close them, one of the things that I say is, listen, whether it's now or later, at least you've met with the top agent in your area. You'll have all the information you need so you can make the best decision you can for yourself and your family. Does that sound fair to you? That, my friends, is 8 U's. There are no I's in that at all. 8 U's. It is not about me. It's about them. So that's just a real quick tidbit about how we teach you. I'll train you in the role play group that I run on what to say, how to say it, and how to say it like that with confidence. You mentioned different ways that we can serve clients. What I like to do is when we have a listing or someone who's interested in selling, there are multiple ways that you can help them. The first thing that I like to figure out is, number one, can I buy it? Okay. Then the second thing is if I can't, will the seller finance it for me? Third way, if the seller can't finance it, can I wholesale it? Take an assignment fee, have a buyer lined up, list it, and then sell it to the buyer, but do a wholesale, not on the open market, but just wholesale it. And then the fourth is if I have to list it, do I have a buyer for it so I can do both sides of the deal? So serve the buyer and the seller for that one property. The fifth way is if you can't do any of those four, you just list it and help the seller that way. Every way of those 5, I'm helping the seller at that point. So there's different ways you can do this as far as creating wealth for yourself, but also serving the seller at the same time. It's all in service of the seller.
As the market continues to evolve, these options that Daniel is talking about become part of the tools that hold the real estate agent who is skilled and who has a tremendous network that we have connections for to then be able to have you really be a real estate professional, a real estate consultant, in addition to a real estate agent or a broker.
All the leverage is on the listing side. So do most agents start to work with buyers when they come out of the gate? Yes. Why? Is because it's the easiest thing for you to do. You're opening doors and showing buyers property. I'll say this, there's not a lot of skill in that. Skills are being able to know what to say, how to say it to a seller so you enlist their property. Now what happens? All the buyers come to you. So all the leverage is on the listing side. That is why very early on when I started working with Aaron, and Aaron and I were working one-on-one, he said, what do you want? I was flipping property at the time. And he said, well, that's not sustainable. It's come and go. He said, do you want to be a listing agent? Do you want to work with buyers? And I said, I don't know. And he said, well, this is the listing side. This is the buyer side. All the leverage is here. You're going to need to really skill up to understand how to do this. And I was like, I love a challenge. So I said, I want to do that.
Yes.
And for probably 3 years, I was writing out the listing presentation. I was writing out pre-qual. I role played twice a week for 5 days a week. And then I came in contact with a very good friend who's in Florida, power agent, Chris Camacho. What's up, Chris? Talking to you, brother. Chris and I started role playing objections 7:10 to 7:30 for like 2 years. So now I'm role playing 3 times a day, 7:10, 7:30, 11:30, because 11:30 is the listing presentation role play, 5 days a week. And I'm writing it out every day for like 90 days. So now the listing presentation is literally like ingrained in my, if somebody walked by and was like, hey, I want to list my property, I can be like, oh, just want to begin our time together today by saying thank you for providing me the opportunity to share some information with you, help with the sale of your home. Does that sound good? Yeah, great. Oh, I can do that off the top of my head. It's here.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I want everybody that's watching and listening to understand all it takes is practice. Why do you think Kobe Bryant has failed so many times? Because he takes all of the shots, but he practices when everybody else is not. Persistence gets it, man. Fuck, I called this lady 17 times in 2 years. And she finally picked up and said,
I got your messages.
the juice is in the follow-up. It's ringing. See if we can get her. Can you imagine me taking a cash offer? Hi, I was looking for please. My name is Daniel. I'm actually a commercial agent in the Essex County area with Tip Commercial.